All right, we're back reading The White Stallion of Lipizza by Marguerite Henry. We are on chapter 4, Without the Dream. Hans was running now. He looked up at the cross on the little church of St. Michael's. He tried to pray, but he didn't know how to begin. He'd never needed help this desperately. He thought of his childhood prayer, but it didn't fit at all. But he said it anyway as he ran. Now I lay me down to sleep. Please, dear God, your child do keep. Your love be with me through the night, and wake me with the morning light. He felt better then, and doubling his fists, he ran with renewed energy. He knew the route. Down the Joseph Platz, past the library, past the opera house, to the Schaefer Hotel first. My papa, has he been here? He asked at the service entrance. A man washing down the steps nodded. Sure, a long time ago. What's the matter, Hans? Go on in. Cook will give you a hot cocoa. But Hans was whirling about, muffler and coattails flying. Out of the courtyard gate and out onto the Sunday street he ran fast and faster, dodging the churchgoers, almost falling over the wilderness of silver-knobbed canes and umbrellas. An Italian chestnut vendor tried to stop him, to grab hold of his muffler. They're hot! They're delicious! He sang. Only 10 groschen a bag! Why is he not stopping? He is worried about...
He's worried about the horsey and his dad.
His dad, yeah. Hans broke loose, ran on. He flew past the windows of wax dummies, past the gallery of pictures. At crossings, he dodged bicycles and motorcycles. He turned into the driveway of the Imperial Hotel and bumped into the head waiter who was arriving at the same time. Boy, the man snorted angrily. Are you out of your mind? He brushed his topcoat as if nearness to the panting, disheveled boy had ruined it. Hans let out his breath in a gasp of pain. It's my father, sir. I've got to find him. The kitchen window opened, and a waitress threw out a handful of crumbs for the birds. Good morning, Hans. Come and help me fold napkins. My father, he called. Has he been? The girl's head was gone in an instant, and then popped out again. Jean, already your trays are half empty. Eyes blinded by tears, Hans plunged on, flying along the park ring from one coffee house to another. Always the answer was the same. Sure, Hans, he's been and gone. Almost down to the Danube Canal, at the last coffee house on his route, Hans stopped and stared. Lying on a curb was a jumble of sticks and wheels. He would never have recognized it except for the blue letters of the word Kipferln. It was all that was left of the bakery cart. So what's happened? His papa has had a wreck in the bakery cart. A gang of boys were picking in among the ruins, looking for anything still fit to eat. Hans charged into them. Go away, one yelled. We were here first. You don't belong in our neighborhood. Just tell me what happened, Hans begged. And where's the driver? The boys seemed not to hear. Didn't you see it? He asked in desperation. Now the boys felt important. They all spoke at once. Sure we did. What a crash. Jean, a brand new Mercedes, hit the cart broadside. And the old man flew out like a bird and landed in that bush. See, it's all broken. Hans knew his father was old, but he winced at the word. But where is he? An ambulance took him off. One boy burst out in laughter. What was really funny was that nag. Now the others were convulsed. No one could catch her, they guffawed. She lit out like she'd been shot from a gun. Hans turned from home. His lungs still ached. He couldn't run anymore. He had to walk slowly, and with each step the burden of his responsibility weighed more heavily. In all Vienna, which hospital might it be? There was no way to know. All he could do was go home and try to calm his mother, and Rosie too, then to wait. By the time he reached his own lane and stood in front of the narrow, wedged-in house with the stucco falling off, he felt himself an old man, older than his father. He pushed open the door. A policeman was already in the kitchen, explaining politely to his mother, Dear Frau, no need for weeping. It's only one leg broken and some bruises. Your husband can come home, maybe next week. Meanwhile, and he smiled at Hans, you have a stout and dependable son here. Every morning at 7 I set my watch by him. He goes to work the same time the Lipizzaers do. The man in the Mercedes replaced the smashed cart with a shiny new one, but neither time nor money completely restored the father's shattered leg. His limping step dragged on the floor and up the stairs, a constant reminder of the accident. Yet his family life went on almost as before. Hopped, could, knead, and bake regardless, and Hans went on delivering in the early morning and studying by night in the library. It was a bittersweet pleasure to look at the Lipizzaers on his morning on his mirror or parading from the stable to riding hall, for there was no one now who could drive Rosie on a Sunday morning, and what went on in the riding hall would have to remain a mystery. One night when Hans came home from the library, his father was alone in the kitchen. He had turned off the electric light and was sitting in front of the window in a pool of moonlight, his leg propped up on a stool. "Hans," he said when the boy had hung up his jacket, "you and me, we must talk things out. There is something you should know. Come sit down." Hans felt a clutch of uneasiness. His father was a quiet man. He didn't believe in a lot of talk. This must be important. "That accident," the father began, then faltered. He struck a match and lighted his pipe, taking longer over the job than usual. "That accident," he began again between puffs, "was my fault." "Then why did the man in the Mercedes pay for Rosie's cart and your hospital bills too?" "He was rich and he was kind." "But how did it happen, Papa?" The father leaned forward and spoke in whispered confidence. "Coming out of that driveway, I dizzied." "You what?" "I dizzied, and the next thing I hear a siren screeching, and I'm in the car making the siren noise, and it's an ambulance." "Oh, Papa, I should have been driving." "No, son. Sometime it had to happen." He had more to say. Hans waited. "We are not rich, but we make ends meet, don't we, son?" "Sure we do, Papa." "Now look at it another way, son. And we are rich. We have great reserves of will and strength." The boy sat up straighter. "So you try to cheer your mother, and no matter what happens to me, Hans, you keep dreaming of the Lipizza. Without the dream, you begin to die a little, and you are too young to die, yes?" So there's his father sitting in the chair, and he wants his son to keep dreaming about the horses. See you next time.